Raider Nation, thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Prom-Dress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer, and we're ready to talk some Raider football together.
Oh, man, and we're getting closer and closer to Raider football. The Combine has come and gone. We're coming up on free agency. The Raiders are bringing people in. They're putting people on the block. There's a lot to talk about. Recent news, a little bit of older news we got on our spreadsheet, but hey, that's a lot to talk about. You know, we spent the last two episodes talking with Karen Bates-Metters, and we were talking about an evening with Jalen Richard. Unfortunately, that was postponed for a short time. And I want to make sure that it's clear that I got my money back ASAP. So those girls, they are about their business. It's just that Jalen, his wife, was expecting, and the baby came sooner than what they thought. So it has been postponed for a little while, but it will be happening again. So we'll keep you informed.
Well, that's certainly a valid reason to have to postpone an event.
Yeah. You know, you can't, family first, right? Everybody
Absolutely.
knows that. You got to take care of your family first. So good luck to the Richards for, with their child coming and, I hope everything works out for them.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So Raider Nation, be sure to get in contact with us. You can call us at 904-701-8667, or you can email us at theonlynationpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Only Nation Pod, and we're on Facebook also at The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. And leave those messages, man. We want to hear from y'all. We'll play them on the podcast. We'll play those messages on the podcast. So leave some messages.
Yeah, for sure. We actually got a message this week, and we're not going to play it, but it was a really cool message from a very awesome listener, and we are going to get him on the show as a result of that. Won't be this week, but it's going to be really soon. Maybe to wrap up free agency.
See what happens when you call in, Raider Nation? You end up on the Only Nation podcast.
And I can't think of a better reward than that.
Me either. I love it here.
Yeah, definitely. So, before we get into the latest news and everything, what are your thoughts about the entire circus surrounding Derek Carr? It has not calmed down at all.
Oh, well, I mean, it's to be expected, right? We're moving now, and we're moving to Las Vegas. We're getting a brand new stadium. We've only had one winning season since 2002. The Raider Nation is antsy. We're tired of losing. Some of us are still patient, but at the same time, like in my mindset, we got maybe a good 2 or 3 years out of Derek Carr, if we're lucky. So the reason that those rumors are still around, right, is because that time's coming that we have to replace him. So at some point, with either this year or next year, we have to draft a quarterback or sign a quarterback that we're ready to bring in as a backup and then a potential future, or sign Tom Brady, right? Of course, nobody wants to hear that, but I mean, it's not going away in my mind. That's like I just said. Derek Carr's career is coming to an end with the Raiders, unless he wins a Super Bowl and then stays healthy. I'm expecting 2 to 3 more years of Derek Carr as a Raider. So, in my mind, the Raiders are looking at it like, if we can get Tom Brady in for 2 years and we're expecting Derek Carr to play for us for about another 2 years, why wouldn't we just go get Tom Brady? And of course, there's all the hoopla about, the tuck rule and all that. But hey, whatever. We can go back into that, but I don't think we need to. But it's not going away because we want to win. The team wants to win. The players want to win. The fan base wants to win. So it's not going to go away until we win. That's the only way Derek Carr can stop all this.
Yeah, I think 2 years is even pushing it. I don't see 2 or 3 years unless there's a drastic change. I could see Derek ushering in the first year in Vegas, but Gruden and Mayock they're okay with him, but they're not in love with him. I know Gruden really likes him as a person, but he's not thrilled with him as a quarterback. And I think that whether it's through draft or through free agency, either through draft or free agency, they're going to find a replacement for him. I know the name that has been thrown around quite a bit this week has been Marcus Mariota. What do you think about that?
I think that's bullshit, quite frankly. First of all, Mariota, right? Yeah, he led the Titans to the playoffs, but so did Derek Carr. They both got hurt. Same injury, right? Lower areas in the leg. Derek Carr's leg was injured lower, I think. So he was able to heal faster. He came back and he played fairly well. I would think that Carr's better than Mariota easily. You know what I mean? And so I don't know about that one. Now the Tannehill one, I would say that would be more realistic, even though Tannehill has similar numbers. He's got that fire, that reckless fire inside of him that everybody is wanting Carr to get back to. Of course, Carr plays a little more conservative, scared if you want to say whatever, but he doesn't have that fire, and that's all the Carr's lacking in my mind. And so, hopefully, like you're saying, all this rumors and all this lights a fire under Carr's ass, and he just comes out and he's like, you know what? I want to shut everybody up, and I'm gonna play like I used to play, and he does it, and that's all we need. But I don't think Mariota's coming to the Raiders.
I think there's a good chance he does.
Why though? I mean, what has he done that I mean, he's more of a running quarterback. The RPO is his strength, right? So
he runs. That's it.
That's limited. That's limited, like right? Because see, remember the football is fundamental, right? So you either run to open up the pass or you pass right to, but it's to open up the run. It's depending on what you're strongest at, right? But it's usually run to open up the pass. Defenses know how to stop the run, right? So once your quarterback is a running quarterback and your running back's already getting stopped, you're done. So you can't open up your offense and pass. When the RPOs don't work, you're done. People like Ryan Tannehill come in and take your job. So if Tannehill came into Tennessee and took Mariota's job, why would we want Mariota here? Wouldn't we want Tannehill here? That's how I look at it.
Hey, I'm not the one beating on the drum for him. I think bringing Mariota in would be about this. I think it would actually be a worse idea than bringing Tom Brady in, and that's saying something. Well, you know how I feel about Tom on a personal level, but also, like I said, he's going to be a 43-year-old quarterback, and I just don't see the point of us putting our hopes in his hands at the age he is. 10 years ago, for sure.
If we were to sign, if we're going to get Brady, it's going to be because we got him as a free agent, right, at the right deal.
Right.
I don't think Mayoc's going to just overpay for Tom Brady. And then that would mean that we're going to trade Derek Carr for some picks. So, that's and then Tom Brady is going to put butts in the seats. It doesn't matter, okay, whether you like him or not. You're going to go watch him. You're going to watch him if you're a Raider fan. And if the guy does well and takes us to a Super Bowl, number 12 is going to be hanging up on your wall, but it's not going to say Stabler anymore. It's going to say Brady.
Oh,
that's what people don't want, right? But
hey,
that could happen. It could happen. And you know what I mean? It could happen. Because if Brady comes in and wins the Super Bowl, forget the tuck rule. You know what I mean? And Charles Woodson will come out and even say that. I bet if Tom Brady brought the Raiders to Super Bowl, Woodson would come in and just say, hey, forget about the tuck rule. Because that's what it's about. It's about winning. Look, all the Carr haters, right, that hate on Carr, they don't want Tom Brady either. But what if, what if one guy comes in and wins for you? If Carr wins for you or Brady wins for you, you're gonna be a fan of it. You're gonna enjoy it. It's not gonna matter who's throwing the ball. It's just gonna matter whether he's throwing the ball to the guy open in the end zone and we're winning games. So whoever the hell is the quarterback, it doesn't really matter as long as we win.
Forgive your blasphemy.
It is blasphemy. I'm just saying that's a scary thing. The Raiders don't retire numbers, right? So that's a scary thing. You could have somebody step in and take, Rich Gannon, right? If Rich Gannon would have won that Super Bowl, right? You're looking at him as the number 12.
Nah.
That's a pretty big deal.
He is a number 12. He's a number 12. He will never be
who's the real number 24? Is it Woodson or Willie Brown? Woodson was drafted by the Raiders, Brown by the Broncos, I think. But Brown won a Super Bowl, with the Raiders. Woodson won one with the Packers, but he came back to the Raiders, So does Super Bowls even matter, right? Because Otto never won a Super Bowl. Dalvey won three of them, but he's not better than Otto. So I don't know if they were to win a Super Bowl. Rich Gannon in my mind would be the top number 12 guy, the guy wearing number 12, because I would have seen him win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. So if Brady came in and won a Super Bowl, I'm gonna get that Super Bowl jersey. You know what I mean? Because to me, it lays to rest that Tuck rule. You know what I mean? Like if Gruden comes in and wins a Super Bowl, then it lays the rest. Gruden fucking running down the sideline, pumping his fist, holding up the Super Bowl championship or trophy that's supposed to be ours. If Gruden comes in and wins, then that erases that. So if Brady comes in and wins one with Gruden, then that's two of those long-lasting memories that are gone and erased and replaced with something that we want to see. It doesn't matter who's going to win, right? If Mariota comes in and wins the Super Bowl, we're all going to have Mariota jerseys. I don't know. I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. I'm just saying, it's like we got to understand that it doesn't matter who steps in. As long as we're winning, that's what we want. But Carr's going to have to deal with this. Back to that, Carr's going to have to deal with this until he starts to win. And I love Carr, man. I love Carr. He's the best quarterback I've seen since Rich Gannon,
Right.
And I remember Jeff George. I love Jeff George. He was crazy, though. He was a gunslinger, and even worse than George was Russell, right? Like, I mean, Carr is not that bad. Carr is not that bad. He just got hurt, and he hasn't been able to get back to where he was because he's not dumb. You know what I mean? In my mind, he's smart. He's taking care of his body. You know what I mean? That's why all these players go to different teams. They don't have any loyalty to a team. Most of these players don't have a loyalty to a team because they're trying to get their money. They know that they could be injured and it's over, and that's it. Derek Carr got injured and his career changed. So that's why they all go after the money. So I don't hold it against him for being a little worried or being smart with his body. I just wish that we were in a position with the players that we need for him to play comfortably, and then we would start winning, I would think. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I'll have to admit that my heart still has a soft spot for Jason Campbell and Bruce Gradkowski, but that's just me.
Oh man, those are hard times. Pryor tried hard, but the dude broke Bo Jackson's record for longest touchdown run. Like, no, not that guy. Not that guy. The next Bo Jackson. Okay, Josh Jacobs breaks that record. Great, but not Terrell Pryor, And that's another thing, right? So is Terrell Pryor better than Marcus Mariota? We've already done the running quarterback thing, It didn't work. And if you're going to be a true blue Raider fan, right? The deep ball, then why the hell you damn sure don't want the RPO running quarterback, you know what I mean? You want somebody that can chunk the rock. So it's tricky, because the game is changing, right? The NFL is changing so much, man. You're trying to keep up with it, but at the same time, the elite defenses are in the playoffs. Quarterbacks that can pass out of the pocket are in the playoffs, and the running game shines in the playoffs. So, like, those are fundamental things. So, no matter how much the game changes as far as getting you into the playoffs, unless you just have this unlimited well of like fantastic plays that just throw everybody off and score a touchdown on everything, then you're going to be limited. You're going to have to play within a scheme, try to manipulate it and things like that. So, because defenses win championships, and the running game is what keeps those defense the 8 in the box and helps your wide receivers get open over the top. And so those are all fundamental. But if you got 8 in the box watching the run, right, on the play action, you got to have a quarterback that's willing to stand in that pocket and throw the ball down deep, and not just keep running that bootleg off of that play action, So that's the trick, right? But then if because Patrick Mahomes is not really, he can run the RPO, but he's a shortstop, so he can throw the ball anywhere, any way he wants. So is that the new thing in NFL? No, because you're not going to find that quarterback all the time, So you still need a quarterback to stand in the pocket. You still need a run game, and you need a defense, So,
well, you know what the defense is supposed to do, or one of the things defense is supposed to do?
Stop the offense.
Stop the offense and stop the pass. You know who didn't do it the last 2 years?
Our defense.
Tahir Whitehead.
Oh man, they got rid of him too. That's
Told ya.
I know. You told me. I know. I think that was not. I mean, that's that's not a good move in my mind. Right now, who the hell's our linebacker? So now free agency is shaping up, right? So they're going after linebackers, right? They're going after linebackers in the draft and free agency. Gabe Jackson's on the trading block, so Good's ready to step in, right? They're trying, in my mind, they're trying to get a second for him or a third, and hopefully trade a couple of those thirds and get a second. But it's shaping up.
Yeah,
Here we are.
right now we basically only have Markel Lee on the roster as a
Yeah,
linebacker. Nicholas Morrow is still on it, but he's been reduced to being just a situational depth player. He's not somebody that you're going to want in there as a starting player, just as a little bit of relief.
yeah,
So we are going to have to go shopping in free agency for linebackers. And there are some good ones out there, but there isn't a whole lot. I'm thinking that we probably need to have at least two in free agency and possibly even two in the draft. They don't have to be star players, but they do have to be able to do a decent job. And right now, we really don't have a starting level linebacker on the roster. Even Markel Lee should be depth.
yeah. I mean, the way this is what I'm still kind of thinking this out. But in my mind right now, right, we got a lot of money, right, in the cap. So you go after Corey Littleton, right? And you go after Byron Jones. You trade Gabe. You hope to get a second, right? And then you do what it takes to move up in the draft and get Isaiah Simmons. Okay. So if you sign Byron Jones, Isaiah Simmons, and Corey Littleton, and then you move Markel Lee to the weak side, I'm thinking that we're in good shape. We're in real good shape right there.
Yeah, we're going to make a big play for Byron Jones.
I would think so. Because the Cowboys, they cannot do that. They can't do it. And that's why bless John Gruden and Mike Mayock for getting, actually Reggie McKenzie for getting that deal done, right? Because we got out of that, man. And on the radio stations here in Texas, I'm hearing that the Cowboys are second guessing Amari Cooper because
Yeah,
he's soft. And so we got a steal. We got a first for a guy that we drafted in the first that didn't even want to play for us and acted soft and dropped a lot of balls. So yeah, hopefully we can turn that into the Cowboys not being able to sign Byron Jones, and we get a Byron Jones at to cover a true number one, and we got Trayvon Mullen on the number two. You know what I mean? And then we got Joyner on the slot. And Joyner, I mean, I thought in the middle of the season he was playing well. Once all the injuries to the linebacking core showed up, that's when shit just started hitting the fan. But I think he'll be fine in the slot. Plus, he's also a reserve safety. Um,
nah,
so
he
yeah,
doesn't belong in the slot.
maybe not, but
Paul Gunther thinks he does, but he doesn't.
no, no, no. He was playing the slot before Gunther got a hold of him. He was playing the slot before then. I
And
can't remember
which,
what the order was. I can't remember if he went from the slot to the safety. I think that's the way it was. But he has played the slot in the past.
yeah, and he played it badly.
Maybe, maybe, but he got a big contract out of it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, so there you go. I mean, I don't know. It's tricky when you sign these players. We could be signing a Corey Littleton and Byron Jones, and they just be play as bad or or similar to Lamarcus Joyner.
Fair enough,
But
that could happen.
I think that if we could get those three guys, Isaiah Simmons, Corey Littleton, and Byron Jones, then we're in good shape. Now that's a big wish list, right? Because everybody's saying that there's going to be a bidding war on Jones and a bidding war on Littleton. So and then everybody's going to be after Simmons. So, but I mean, what? Well, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I can't do all that research. I just don't have the time. But in my, quick little look at what's going on, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, you know who I like is that guy from the Brown, Schobel.
Yeah, but see, that's what they were saying. He's gonna end up in a bidding war also.
I don't think he's gonna. I think Littleton is gonna be the biggest bidding war.
Well, one of those two, because those are the two of the top linebacking free agents out there. So yeah, one of those guys. And like and a top cornerback. That's what we need. We need a top middle linebacker. And I know Corey Littleton's on the outside, but Isaiah Simmons could be the middle linebacker, and so we need that middle linebacker. We need the outside linebacker on the strong side, and we need a number one cornerback. That's what we really need. The defensive line is playing well. I think if you can get some depth in the draft, you'll be fine, right? Because Mayo is coming back, Hankins coming back. Those guys were playing well. That Hankins should start over PJ Hall, And even Hall and Hurst, they graded out well with PFF. Who knows how far we are, if we should, how much we should have, take those numbers into consideration. But they're grading out well. A lot of people take those numbers into consideration. Mad Max, man, he's going to see a lot of double teams. I think this is where Mayak was saying, we're going to need you to get stronger. So he'll get stronger in the offseason, and he'll get that bull rush in, which will help him with the double team. Uh, and then Cleveland Farrell, the same thing. He's going to be seeing some single blocks, I would think, because the attention will be paid to Mad Max. So I think the defensive line is good. Yeah, we could have benefited from a Chris Jones, or even if we could land that Kinlaw kid, that would be awesome. But I think the defensive line would play much better with a great linebacking core and a better cornerback, or at least a better number one.
Yeah, I think that if we could get another number one cornerback and not have Trayvon Mullen play the number one, but as a number two cornerback, learning and growing into his play as an NFL player, I think we could be doing pretty good. Yeah, so if we could get Jones and Trayvon Mullen, we would be doing pretty dang good. I pick up a few linebackers. I fell in love with Isaiah Simmons. I know you did too. He was a freak at the combine. Yeah, I think he worked his way out of our range as far as being able to move up and get him. You never know, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a quarterback driven league, so the quarterbacks, they're a hot commodity. It's a pass rusher league, right? So, people are going to be looking at pass rushers, linemen too, right? There's always a lineman in there that gets picked. Cornerbacks, linebackers, in my mind, unless they're elite like Simmons, right? They seem to go into the second round or like the later first. I'm not gonna, don't quote me, right? I'm not a draft expert. I'm just saying I can't remember a whole lot of badass linebackers being drafted as I can some of the other players up in the higher spots.
Yeah, and we
But
definitely haven't tried to get any badass linebackers because we have been refusing to draft anyone before the fourth or fifth round for linebacker for I don't know how many years, how many decades. When was the last time we had a high draft pick as a
well,
linebacker?
Rolando, right? Rolando, I think.
Could
Can't
be.
remember what round he was in, but he was a high pick, and yeah, he just, and then the Raiders have been gun shy ever since, for sure. Since Rolando, right? I think that they took that chance with Rolando because of Kirk Morrison. We knew that we needed to replace him. We thought we had that guy, but it didn't work out.
Well, they're just shy because of Rolando's rap sheet.
I mean yeah. Well, that guy, he continued to rack it up too, right? That list grew longer.
Yes, he did. But if we could replace Kirk Morrison, not a Hall of Fame player, but he definitely is a Gruden grinder, hard nosed dude. Loved watching him play. I think that his parents were actually season ticket holders of the Raiders
Yeah, yeah,
long before he ever played for them.
yeah. They were Raider fans for sure. His dad was a huge Raider fan. Yeah, he used to go to the games with his dad. I thought that was great. I thought that was great, and it's nice to be able to look back and say that we need a linebacker. We haven't had a good linebacker since him.
Right.
So yeah, I think he did well for us, but here we are, needing him. We don't have him.
Oh, hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I had to take a drink. Speaking of drinks, did you know that Tom Flores has a tribute beer named after him by the Tioga Sequoia Brewing Company in Fresno?
Nice. No, I did not.
Yes. He is a Central Valley native who keeps his bond with the area very strong. I believe he played for Sanger High School.
Yep. Shout out to the Sanger Bangers. Polo Rodriguez is good friends with Tom, and they went to Sanger. They went to the same high school. So yeah, they're Sanger Bangers, what they call them.
But yeah, I have a picture of the can for Flores. It's part of the Frez Yes Festival. You can actually view it on my webpage on Facebook, the Die Hard Raiders with a Vengeance page, and it is right up there. It's one of the first pictures. Also, I can't remember if I tweeted it out. Maybe I'll just have to do that. Tweet it out from our account. It's a really cool looking cam, though. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say earlier, I get to meet Tom Flores this year, and I'm excited. At Polo Rodriguez's Santa Maria parade. So y'all show some support. Check out Polo Rodriguez. He does a lot there. He's working on players showing up, super fans, and all that. But like I said, yeah, Sanger bangers. Tom Flores is big time in the community. He's always showing his support to the Raider Nation. So make sure you get out there and get his beer. What is this beer called? The Tioga Sequoia Brewing.
Tioga Sequoia Brewing Company.
Yeah, that one. That's what I meant to say. Get some of that, Raider Nation. Get some of that.
Yeah, I cheated. I'm local, so I knew how to say the name. And further on in Raiders news, retired offensive lineman Lincoln Kennedy is being honored by Washington and will be enshrined into the Pac 12 Ring of Honor.
That's cool. Kennedy, I love to watch him on the I think it's I know he shows up on a pawn for the review a whole lot, but the damn it, what is the name of the segment he does for the Silver and Black show where he breaks down the plays, man. I really love watching those, man. Coming from an offensive lineman, somebody that understands what it means to pull and block and get on the right side of the defender and all this and that, and he's breaking it all down. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, and he's able to break it down into simple terms too,
Yeah,
and
I can
quickly.
understand it.
They're only 3 5-minute segments, but he covers an awful lot. When he was playing, was it still the Pac-10?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it might have been.
All I know is he was a beast on the right side. Man, he was big.
He
Man.
still is big.
Well, yeah, he still is big.
He still
And
is a
he's still a
beast.
beast breaking down plays and all that, man. We could use him. Of course, Trent Brown's he's playing well. He's playing well. That was a good signing, right? That we've talked about the 2019 draft class a lot, but that free agent class worked out, right? Got Trent Brown. I think Joyner's going to work out. Perfect. I think he played well. The NFL just had, they were after him. But I mean, especially because Trent Brown came in playing left tackle. You weren't sure if he was going to be on the left or the right. He came in, he played, he switched spots, didn't say anything. Donald Penn acted like he didn't say anything, but you could tell he wasn't too happy with switching sides. But Trent Brown came in, switched sides. Super Bowl champion came in and said, "Yeah, I'll go play the right side. You got this left tackle that's rookie here, the second year guy. Yeah,
Yeah, and Trent Brown is a massive man.
yeah, just like Kennedy.
I think he's even bigger than him.
He might be, but that's that Gruden. Because you can see Gruden building a team like he did in the mid-90s, the late 90s. He doing what Al taught him to do. He's got that big offensive line first, defensive line first, right? The quarterback must go down and he must go down hard, right? And of course, we had Jim Otto, Art Shell, and Gene Upshaw. I think Gruden is doing a great job, and Mayock, interviewed with Al Davis, so I think Mayock has a great insight on to how to build a good team. And then I think what they're doing is what Al couldn't do, seemingly right at the end of his career, which was keep up with the game as far as like evaluating talent and bringing players in to fit your scheme. Maybe I think that's where Al kind of hurt. He just never got the right guys in the end to get that long ball going the way he wanted to anymore. And of course, the game changes. The West Coast offense came in and took over, but I think Mayock and Gruden, they have a great understanding of where Al Davis came from, so they know what they want to do, they know how to do it, and they know the new age style of football. Because remember, Gruden came in, everybody's like, can he relate to these players? Can he do? He did. Boom, you knew that in the Senior Bowl. He was
Right.
slapping stickers on them, and then boom, they all loved him. And now, 4 years out from then, 4 to 5 years later, right? Those players are all gonna be like, I'm going over there first to the Raiders. We're gonna get good players signed at a good price because they know they're coming in on their second contract or their third contract, and they know that Gruden knows how to win. Maybe they haven't been winning over here. They got all the money they want, but they want to win. So hopefully we get that comes into fruition. But yeah, man, Trent Brown does remind me of Lincoln Kennedy, and I think that John Gruden is doing a great job of building this team. Him and Mike Mayock.
And I think we're really going to start seeing the result of players wanting to come and play for Gruden already this year. It's going to help that we will be in Vegas with no state income tax. But
Right.
I think that players just want to play for Gruden. He gets so intense. He loves football. That's all that he does. He eats, sleeps, and breathes football.
And shits
And
football.
yeah, he does. You can use that word for me. My dainty ears, my virgin ears.
Bullshit. Excuse me.
Excuse me. I'm offended.
Oh boy, I do that a lot. Sorry.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
Don't fire me, okay? Whatever you do, don't fire me. I'm having a great time.
I ain't gonna fire you. You're too fun. I gotta keep you around.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And in further news, the Raiders have been busy in the community in Las Vegas. The Veterans Village, a nonprofit in Las Vegas, Nevada, celebrated its grand opening for its new container homes. And these homes were partially funded by the Raiders Foundation first celebrity swing golf tournament back in 2018. In other news, the Raiders, again, out in the community. Raider Rusher and the Raiderettes spent time at Elaine Wynn and Doris Reed elementary schools to celebrate Nevada Reading Week and promote the importance of literacy.
Oh yeah, you gotta be able to read. You gotta be able to read, or you won't be able to do podcasting. No, this is a great thing, right? This is a great thing. The Raiders being involved, right? A lot of teams are involved, but the Raiders, yeah, them being involved with the community is a great thing because it translates to their fan base, right? We're huge in the community, so it's not just the Raiders doing things for the community; it's the Raiders fan doing things for the community, the Raider player doing things for the community, and so that's a great thing. You know, they lead by example, and it's awesome. You know, and I mean, like the work that they do doesn't they don't have to do it. You know, they got the money. They got all that money. They got that stadium. They could just walk in and not give a damn. But they put boots on the ground long before they ended up there in Vegas. They've established themselves as a community leader. And that's important. I mean, I know I feel good about that as a Raider fan. It's like, well, what do the Raiders do? You know, hey, we care about the community, dude. What do you do? How many Super Bowls you won? For every Super Bowl that you won, how much did you donate to your community? You know, you bought those jerseys. You bought all those number 12 jerseys for all those championships. Did you donate to the community? You know, and you ask a Raider fan like that, chances are, oh yeah, well, I donated to the community, or I've donated my time to the community. You know, I've done something for somebody else because in the Raiders organization and in the Raider Nation, it's all about being together in unity, no matter what you might have done in the past or where you came from or who you are. You know, it's just about being a Raider. And being a Raider means kicking ass on the field and helping out off the field. And I think it's great. I love it. I love that Mark Davis, you know, we talked about Mark Davis's legacy in the past. I love that Mark Davis is huge in the community. That's like he's buying that 12K dinner for the steak dinner, right? For the people that helped build the Vegas stadium, right? He said it. Yeah, he said it. So he's like, you know, I said it. I'm going to do it. That's money, y'all. That's money, man. If I started a fundraiser and, you know, you can barely get people to respond, you know, and so, you know, he's able to raise money. He's able to give back the money. You know, that's huge, you know, that's huge, you know, the way that he's able to encourage people and not forget them.
Yeah, and speaking of the stadium, the Allegiant Stadium sign started to go up on the side of the building last week. Have you seen any pictures or video of it yet?
Yeah, you know, my favorite one was the owl one, was just AL owl. I think put all the cute Star Wars, Death Star patches to the side, right? And I'm not knocking patches. I got cheesy patches too. But the owl. The owl to me is what that stadium should be called. All right. That's Al Davis's dream, right? They owned the Las Vegas Raiders name long before they became the Las Vegas Raiders, right? So that
Right.
family, the Davis family. So Vegas was always on their mind. Al visited Vegas, took players to Vegas, all that. We all know that. The owl. I think that's the picture that's always going to stand out in my mind. And if I ever use a picture of that Allegiant name, it's going to be the one that says owl. Because, I mean, Mark Davis is doing it, man. He's doing it for his dad. I help my dad as much as I can. I take care of him as much as I can.
Right.
If I could, do the things that I knew my dad wanted to accomplish but wasn't able to accomplish, if I could accomplish those in the name of my father, I would be so proud. And I think, that's where we need to leave it. The owl. Don't call it the Death Star. To me, it's either the owl or the black hole. The damn thing is, it's an oval, right? But it's circular, right? But the black hole, because the black hole is just synonymous with the Raiders now, right? It links the fans and the team, or just call it the owl, and let's all remember Al Davis. Because one thing I love to do on my channel, right, is talk about Al Davis, man. He was doing some great things within the community, right? It didn't matter white, black, Mexican. It didn't matter about any of that. It didn't matter
Female.
if
Never.
you were female, right? Amy, Trask, right? So none of that mattered to Al. It was like, do you love football? Do you know football? And if you read the books, you had to be prepared. So when he was asking you questions, so it's like, how much do you love football? And so anybody that was a part of that circle knew their shit. So I think just call it the owl. Anyway, so yeah, that's the picture I saw.
You know which name I like that has not caught hold, but I really like it?
What?
Is the nation's capital.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That'll work because the Mecca is always going to be Oakland. So
Yeah. And then that you could spell with an O or an A, to the end, depending on how you're looking at it. But I love that. The nation's capital. Perfect.
yeah, I'll
The
go with that.
the big owl, the nation's capital. There we go. We just solved the problem.
The big boom, done and done right here on the Only Nation podcast.
Got that right. And speaking of property, the Raiders have been up to more property transactions. They have actually sold part of the property where their headquarters in Henderson, Nevada will be located for $191 million. They originally paid $6 million for the property.
Cha-ching!
Oh, yeah. And they will be leasing the site back for up to 100 years. So it's a practice that's becoming more popular, selling it with a lease back option.
Now, is this the we'll lease it back for $1 a year thing that Mark Davis was trying to get Oakland to do?
That I haven't heard. I've just heard that it has sold. They'll lease it back, and the first term is 29 or 30 years, and then it can be renewed like in 10-year chunks after that, up to 100 years.
This is what I was talking about in a previous episode. Forgive me for not remembering, but I was saying it wrong, right? It was naming rights and all this and that, but this is about the property in Henderson, right? But when Mark Davis is able to make these moves and then turn it and flip it into money, he's not going to just be that broke owner forever. Okay, he's paying this debt off, so the money's going to start rolling in. This is going to Mark Davis building his own legacy. This is one of those things that's going to show that this man knows business. Okay, there were a lot of this fake Dr. Death, and I'm sorry to say that. But there's only one Dr. Death. His name is Skip Thomas. Okay.
Got that right.
Coming out and saying, this owner doesn't know this owner doesn't know that. You should sell the team. You should do this. Dude, shut up and sit down. Okay. Because Mark Davis does know his business. He knows it. He knows how to do it. He's obviously doing it. And don't get me wrong, right? Oaktown legend patches and magnets out there. Oakland is always going to be Mecca, but it didn't work out. but don't be disgruntled, right? Because Mark Davis knows how to make. He's a businessman, and that's what this is about, right? And so the important thing, right, is to remember that we're Raiders. We're the Raiders. Al Davis owned the Las Vegas name for a little while. They owned that shit back then. So
Yeah, for over 20 years now.
yeah, this goes to show that Mark Davis and Al Davis had a plan, and it's coming into fruition right now. And Mark Davis, to me, is like Little Mac and Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Coming up there, he's like, you don't ever see his face, right? He's just jumping up and trying to punch. Bah, bah, you got to hit low every once in a while. You got to do all this and that. And then you get to Mike Tyson and you knock him out and you're the champion. That's he hasn't got there yet, right? We got to get, the NFL is Mike Tyson. So we got to get up there and knock him out. You know what I mean? Knock on wood if you're with me, right? But that, we're getting there. We already got through Glass Joe as the Las Vegas Raiders in the new Mark Davis era. We got through Glass Joe. We're coming up on King Hippo now. We're about midway through the game. So winning that championship, it costs, man, because you gotta have players. You gotta draft well, free agency, all that shit's gotta work right. And then you gotta keep the players that you draft that work out and trade the Coopers that don't work out. It's all that. And he's been smart, right? He's let Mike Mayock come in there and do his thing. He's let John Gruden come in there and do his thing. You don't hear shit from Mark Davis, right? Until he makes what, $191 million on a $6 million investment.
Yeah, well, like I said in that one episode, Mark Davis is a lot smarter than people give him credit for.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows a lot more about football than he himself gives him credit for.
Right. You're not gonna be Cliff Branch's roommate and not know football. You're gonna be talking. And he, like I said, this is not Stan Kroenke buying the Rams. All right. This is Mark Davis, who grew up within the Raiders organization, making moves, man. Making moves, and now we're sitting at 7-9. We got 5 picks in the first 91, and the second draft of Mike Mayock, who already knocked it out of the park in 2019. Dude, we're poised. We're poised. Pride and poise is coming back, right? Because Mark Davis has pride in this team. Make no mistake. All right. Now the poise is coming back because, he took it on the chin with the LA thing. He tried to keep the team in Cali. And he tried to come back to the table with Ronnie Lott too. How much is debatable that he was at that table, but he tried, but it just ended up in Vegas, man. But he's made smart moves, and I remember all that shit going on about how he wanted the naming rights, he wanted to buy the property and sell it and then lease it back or whatever the hell he wanted to. He was trying to make moves, but Oakland wasn't making those moves, and now Libby. Libby is a joke from what I hear. I even see Oaktown. I even see Oaktown Jules making fun of Libby. You know what I mean? When Oaktown Jules is making fun of Libby, something's wrong.
Yeah, and her latest move about letting that cruise ship dock when nobody else would let it dock anywhere is really, really soiled people against her. Not to get into politics or anything, but it was a very unpopular move on her part, and who knows how that's going to come out.
She lost the Warriors, the Raiders, and the A's are about to. They're gonna bounce on her too. The A's are gone. I really, because they were already thinking about building that stadium somewhere else, not on that site. So that's what she wanted. They wanted that site. It's underdeveloped. If you ever went to Oakland, you can see that it's underdeveloped. You were looking around, you're like, damn, this is kind of crappy. From the Denny's, all the way around, right to the Golden State Warriors Stadium, right there. You had the Raider image and things at the little shopping center and the Denny's. And then on the other side was the BART and all that, right? But it didn't seem like a whole lot of development in the neighborhood on the other side from the Denny's. There was that downtown area, I think. But they want that area. They want that area. They want to develop it. They want to make money on it. And that's why Mark Davis had to leave, because he's like, I'm in a business too. I'm in the business of winning football games, and we haven't been winning football games. So I got to do what I got to do to get the finances to back these contracts. I need the stadium to attract these players, because that's one thing I wanted to ask Jalen Richard, right? It's like, Jalen, you played for the Raiders. in Oakland, and you are about to play with the Raiders in Vegas. And I'm assuming you've already seen the stadium, whether it's pictures or not. Tell me, what would, if you were a free agent coming in outside of the Raiders team, how big of a influence would that new stadium be for you? That new workouts, this and that, the new stadium and all the attention on it. How much is that? Because a lot of these players are like that. They want the best. They want, because they want to be the best. So how much is it? And then no state tax, and not to be political, right? But hell, no state tax. I like that. You know what I mean? I'm from Texas, so I'm not trying to pay state tax. So I already got to pay the federal government. We agree so much on taxes, to try to help the community and everything, but state taxes, that's like double jeopardy to me.
And I'm from
So
California, so don't even talk to me about taxes.
I'm sorry. I went over there. I went to, man, I was getting taxed, tourist tax. I'm like, what? You just taxed me on the Bay Bridge, right? I
Mm-hmm.
get over here, you're taxing me tourist tax. You want me to pay 20% tip. Like, damn, man. What, damn. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Don't forget our gas taxes. I was in Alaska a couple of weeks ago, and I could not believe it when I saw the gas prices were actually 20 cents cheaper up there. I was like, the middle of nowhere and it's 20 cents cheaper blew me away.
And gas, right? Jet fuel, uh, gas to get the equipment from the stadium, I guess, to the practice field, whatever. Just think about gas. The amount of money the team spends on gas, whether it's jet fuel or regular gas. That's something that you have to take into consideration. Like, the price is too high in California. It's just what it is, man. It was a business move, and now here we are in Vegas, and he's flipping a $6 million property for 191 million. That's great business sense, man.
Yeah, and those taxes, it would be foolish to think that there weren't players that were less likely to come to a California team than another team. That had to be a factor. Especially when you're talking thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a lot of money, and some of the players do earn a lot of money, but it really hurts to give a lot of it up, too.
Yeah,
And how should I say? It must have dissuaded some people from signing to a California team. And then to add on top of that, the Coliseum, which, let's face it has seen its better days. It's lived its good life, and it's time for it to go on. Probably not even a remodel would cover it. Probably needs to be scrapped. But between that, the taxes, everything combined, I'm sure that we lost a few free agents that way.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's guaranteed that we're gonna gain free agents by moving to Las Vegas. I mean, because
Right.
they're business minded. This is the day of brand, the age of branding, right? Everybody's branding themselves. They want money. They more money, more. We don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to pay more taxes. So of course those free agents are going to come in, and they'll be like, yeah, no state tax. Hell yeah, I'll come over there. You know, you're going to get those players from the Rams. You're going to get those players from the Chargers. You're going to get those players from what? That's it, right? In Cali? No, the Niners,
49ers.
maybe. You know, if we want them.
Yeah. Well, anyways, enough about politics.
Okay, there we go. Let's move on.
All right. And let's see. Another big announcement came this past week that Garth Brooks will be the first major concert at Allegiant Stadium.
I got friends in low places.
Have you ever seen him in concert?
No.
Incredible show.
I bet though. Yeah, he was. I remember him, man, from the '90s. That dude, before he went, what was his name? Chris Ines or whatever. Before he went all crazy and trying to do that movie. Yeah, that dude was killing it in the '90s, man.
Yeah, you don't even have to like country music. He just puts on such a good show.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Break that stadium in, make sure it's working properly. Because when the Raider Nation gets there, You better be ready to go because we're gonna take over, man. We're gonna take over.
I would kill to be at that concert. That would be incredible. And that's coming from somebody who gets paid to work concerts.
I know. I was just thinking, like, damn, you'd probably even work that concert, huh?
When he came into town last time, I worked 4 of his concerts in 3 days.
You just like him in those tight jeans and that cowboy hat.
Well, I kind of have to admit, it was appealing. But his wife was there too, so I didn't want to get in no cat fight.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch out. Don't be careful.
Yeah. She's got a pretty nice voice and puts on a good show as well.
What's it? That's Faith, right? Faith Hill?
No, Trisha Yearwood.
Oh, okay.
Faith Hill I would not want to cross either.
Yeah, I don't know country all that well. I do like Chris Stapleton though. I do like that new age old school country revival that's showed back up with like Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, Colton Waller. Yeah, there's some good country out there.
I don't know. I just go to work when I'm scheduled. I never know who it is.
But get some footage, if Tool ever shows up, all right, and send it to me.
I can't. I'll get fired.
Oh, don't do that. I was just kidding.
Last show I did miss, I was kind of bummed about. I miss Korn.
I wasn't much of a Korn fan. I always liked Tool. I was a big Tool guy.
You were a big Tool.
Don't tell Ben Klein that. He's going to laugh.
Okay, so before we wrap up this show, I've got one more segment I want to bring to you.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
Hunter Renfrow. He is busy extending plays in games and being basically a Raiders warrior. Now, not only is he cool on the field, this past week he took it a step further by visiting Rancho High School in North Las Vegas. He shared breakfast with the students as part of the National School Breakfast Week. He signed autographs and spoke to the students about eating a healthy breakfast and the importance of staying physically active. It is community involvement like this and positive role modeling, is that even a word? Positive role modeling that makes Hunter this week's Heidi's hero. And Homer's going to be so glad to know that I agreed on his name.
Hey, when it's cheesy, it's easy. You got to go with it.
And I did my best to get the cheesiest theme music as I possibly could for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's done in your honor.
That's cool. I was editing a podcast, right? And Ken Thompson's talking about Hunter Renfrow. And he's talking about how Hunter Renfrow reminds him of Fred Biletnikoff, but without the stickum. And I'm thinking to myself, that's exactly what I thought. So to see this guy, be able to play well coming out of the 4th round, right?
5th round. 5th round. He was our 5th round pick.
Coming out of a late round, being able to play so well and still stay level-headed, go out and, share breakfast with students, That's what makes players great because not all players do that. There are a lot of players that do that, right? But not all players do that. But Hunter Renfrow, right, is showing the ability to lead on the field and lead off the field. And that's the kind of people that we need on this team, right? Because that's the kind of people that Derek Carr is, right? We were talking about him earlier,
Right.
So, you want to build the team with people like Hunter, because that's the way to be. It's as simple as that. That's the way to be. You can be successful in anything that you do, but if you don't give back, you're nothing. You're a nobody, man. Think about it. Because people better than you have done way more than you for the community, right? And they've made way more money than you.
Right.
So you have to give back, man. And to see Hunter Renfro do that as well as remind me and Ken Thompson of being the next Fred Blendnikov is special to me. Because then you got that right kind of guy that you need to build a team. And hopefully, he becomes that security blanket that Carr needs and we win a Super Bowl.
That would work very fine for me.
And Hunter Renfro catches 3 touchdowns, all tippy toe, right? Leaning out, stretched out. He becomes the next, wide receiver Raider in Super Bowl MVP. That'd be great.
Not a bad feat for a 47-year-old rookie.
He does look like an old man. I love that when Gruden was playing that, during Hard Knocks, we're looking for this certain type of athlete. We need him big. We need him strong. So we're going with Hunter Renfro. And he looked like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? There's another coincidence. He looked like Tom Brady in this picture.
Have you seen his wife? His wife is hot.
Well, they all got hot wives, right?
That's true.
That's what they do.
Then why am I still single?
Don't do that to me, all right? Damn, I'm still single. I don't know why I'm single, right? I'm a great guy. I can podcast. I can wear a mask and play fun. Be funny. Take pictures with kids.
There you go.
Why am I still single?
I don't know. Maybe we both have the same personality flaws.
Well, it's a good thing we got this relationship in this podcast, huh?
That's right. Okay, well, I think that wraps us up for this week. Be sure to call our voicemail, leave a message at 904-701-8667. Give us your opinion on free agency. By the time we get our next episode on the air, it is going to be right in the middle of free agency, and we will have a lot to share with you guys. Any closing thoughts, Homer?
No, I've talked enough tonight.
Okay, sounds good.
Make sure you get in contact with us, man. We want to hear from y'all. We want to include y'all on the shows. Let us know what you think, man. It's important because this is for the only nation. This podcast is for the only nation. So we want to make sure that it's tailored to the only nation. So get in contact with us, Raider Nation.
Sounds good. Like I said, 904-701-8667. And on that note, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.